Okay, so Vibhishana Gita is made up of these chopais, and we did the first chunk of them. And so, just a quick recap, we saw that the wheels of the chariot are Dhriti, fortitude, and courageous. And then the flag of the chariot was truthfulness and the sweetness of speech. Then the horses were bala, so having strength on all the layers, mental, physical, and spiritual. And then discrimination, viveka, and control over ourselves and self-control. And self-control is such a huge topic, right? Like self-control can be in terms of food, but it can also be in terms of speaking, because our speech is so impactful. It can be in terms of doing an action or not doing an action. Like today, how often we reach for the phone when we don't even need it. So like it can be specific things like Instagram, Netflix, but it can also just be reaching for phone or some other kind of comfort or some kind of just habit which we don't look into. Even in terms of speaking, sometimes control is speak less, but also sometimes we'll use a particular word too much, or we'll say and that it's just our brain has created a habit and it's just not at all useful. So self-control is having that awareness and then control over it. Yeah. So self-control also is physical, and then on the level of speech, and speech is such a vast amount. So physical can be senses, but also actions, like I mentioned, looking at Instagram and all of that. That's both action and senses, but it can be just action. Like some people will play with their hair or bounce their leg when they're sitting, self-control and stillness. So senses, action, and then at the level of speech, and then at the level of thoughts. We can so easily give into a train of thought. So self-control to just not indulge it, whether it's a thought to do with desire or sometimes self-pity. We indulge that one, such dedication, we indulge our self-pity. And so self-control, just don't entertain that thought. So self-control is one of the horses. And then the concern for others, but I hit that. And that's a lot to do with our purity of mind. Then we saw the reins also continuing with this concern for others. Is compassion, samatva, and forgiveness. And we saw all of them quite elaborately. And actually, the story that I had for equanimity of mind is quite a cute, funny one. There's this teacher, like guru kind of person, and they're living in a monastery in Japan. And last class I said lots of stories about monastery in Thailand. We've moved now to Japan. And Japan has these tremors or these earthquakes, and so everyone is prepared for them. And so there was quite a significant earthquake. And so the people in the monastery, of course, had a system that was set up for how to look after themselves. And so the monastery had collapsed and there was some repair and there was minimal injuries to people because by and large they got to safety. And so the guru kind of figure was saying, so now you've understood how to live Zen. Did you see when the earthquake happened? Of course, I was surprised and slightly nervous, and so I drank a glass of water, but then I immediately brought you all to the temple, and we stood here in this doorway where we would be the safest, and by and large, everyone is well. And then one student kind of just a smile on his face. And teachers catch very quickly when students are smirking at them or making fun of them or judging them. And what, yes, what do you have to say about it? And he said, that was, all very good. That yes, you were very calm, but that wasn't a glass of water. It was a glass of soy sauce. Samatva. But when we saw Samatva last week, it wasn't so much about not feeling things or not reacting, but having that presence of mind to be able to still act in a way that is conducive and to still be able to do what is best in the situation and for you, rather than to give into doing what the emotion dictates for you to do. And so even in this case, even if he drank the soy sauce, it's fine. At least he got everyone to safety. And is the mind frazzled? Sure, in an earthquake, your mind is going to get a bit frazzled. Although realized masters, and there are stories where they're just not at all frazzled. Like nothing happens. They're not frazzled. That might be ideal to be able to show us what's going on inside. But in terms of worldly living, some amount of reaction might be seen, like the guru drinking the soy sauce. Okay, so we saw samatva. Samatva is to hold the mind steady so that it doesn't keep oscillating. And holding the mind steady also had a lot to do with that self-control that I was talking about. Because if we aren't able to control the mind, we can't hold it steady. It will run out with every distraction and some sound, and then we're busy seeing what that sound is. And some smell, and then we're busy either remembering other times that smell happened or go in search of what is it, or any sense we get. So samatvam does need self-control already, and that's why self-control was one of the strings, and so one of the horses, and samatvam is one of the strings. And so you'll see that the strings, the reins, are all a little bit more subtle than the horses, which are a little bit more gross, but they all very, very connected and tied in with each other. Okay, and so now we go to the second chopai or verse, set of chopais. Ishana bhajanu sarati sojana. Birati charma santosha kripana. Dana parasu buddhi shakti prachanda. Bada vigyana katina kodamda. Okay, so now we come. So we've seen the horses, we've seen the reins, and who's holding the reins? The charioteer. So what is, or who is, or? Well, here in the Bhagavad Gita chariot, the charioteer is Sri Krishna. Here in this chariot of success, the charioteer is a virtue. Ishana bhajana. So similar. Isha is Bhagwan. Bhajana, devotion. Devotion to Bhagwan. If you think about what that would mean as a charioteer, what do you think? Why do you think that's the charioteer to our chariot of success? Devotion to Bhagwan is our charioteer. If we are on the chariot of success, why? Why would you think so? Say no.
So you have all these qualities, but you still surrender to Bhagwan.
You're surrendering to Bhagwan, yeah. In the Bhagavad Gita chariot, when we talk about it, there's definitely that aspect. Yes. Yes, slightly different.
That's faith, because not always your fact. So
there's faith, because whatever happening around us, we can't necessarily understand it. Oh, I would never have thought of that. Nice point. Anyone else? Think now. Devotion helps in developing all the other qualities, correct? Correct. Anyone else?
is it like there's guidance?
There's guidance. Yeah. All answers are true. And that would be the direction I would go in. So actually devotion being my charioteer. So job of charioteer is giving the chariot direction. So from what you said, I think it was we are getting direction from God. But here it's not that. Here it's that when I have to decide where to go, then I use my devotion to guide. So at any given point in time, what am I going to do now? Then keeping devotion alive will give me the direction that I want to take. And so it can be in terms of setting goals, and in terms of life overall, right? Or it could be even like in this very moment, I'm at a crossroad, and do I do this or do I do this? And then let devotion, your own devotion, be your guide. So when I have devotion, I think a few years ago, and it must have been at least like 2 decades ago, maybe, quite a while ago, there was this whole campaign, more in the West, of what would Jesus do? Do you remember this? And they were, no, it was on billboards. Or maybe I was in America at that time, and that's why I saw it so much. It was on billboards, and they had these bracelets, and they had this. And so basically the idea was like, in any situation you were in, what would Jesus do? And then, you could change it to Krishna would do, but basically if you had devotion, that's what you would be thinking. What would Bhagwan do in this situation? And we have all these incredibly beautiful stories in our Puranas to give us that kind of a guidance, right? So even something like if you take the Dhruva story, Dhruv, this little boy who goes into the forest to do tapas so that he can sit on his father's lap. And so as a parent, then you're thinking, what should I do? Well, you don't want to be regretting life decisions like Upapadhyaya, the father, because then he spent years worrying about, is my child okay in the forest? And then the other one that he did pamper, he couldn't bear to look at because he favored that one and now this one's gone. And so now you've lost both, right? So just love both, like don't favor any. Or, if you in this Surichi's case of where you feel your own children are better than everyone else's children, and then you lose everything. That possessiveness or that self-promoting doesn't really help get you what you want. Rather live in harmony with them, and then everyone's sharing everything, rather than try to have everything for yourself and then have all of it stolen away from you. And we always hear the story, and it's just, we just focus on Dhruv was so cute going into the forest and doing his tapas and getting his boon. But there's so many ways in which we can relate it back to our lives. Even now Ganesh Chaturthi is finished, and I think I heard the story maximum this Ganesh Chaturthi, I don't know why, in social media about the head being chopped off. It was nice, and my feed, of course, everyone was defending Shivji, but other feeds where they talk about it so much, and it's, Parvati ji wanted someone who was just hers, that she didn't have to share with anyone else. And then see the ripple effect of that. Yeah. So, these stories can be we can just really play with the idea of it. And if we have devotion, the right story will come. Because I have some teenagers in my class who not talk at all. And then I have teenagers in the class that ask a gazillion questions, and they're so random, and they jump from, in this story, why did this happen? And then why wasn't this? And then why was it? And so sometimes we'll think there's devotion, but I don't know which story to think about or how to think about it. But if we actually have devotion, and then there's this sense of guide me, then the right story comes and the right path. But if we get lost in, I don't know what to do, then the right story is not going to come. Then the mind's going to jump here, there. But devotion is this feeling of, I remember I was listening to Gurudev, and it was some Bhagavad Gita chapter, and I think it was chapter 9. And he was talking about if a mother or a father is holding a young kid, like a 18-month-old, and so, sometimes they'll hold the baby up here on the shoulder. So the baby's resting on the shoulder. And then if they fall, where are they going to fall? Into the lap. They're never going to get hurt. They're just going to go from the shoulder into the lap. And I remember when I was hearing this, and Gurudev was saying, and that's how you're being held. That you can't fall in a way that's going to hurt you. Even if you think you're falling, you're just falling into the lap. You're still in Bhagwan's lap only. And so, what's devotion? It's feeling like you got me. I guess there's the safeness. And when we don't feel safe, the mind is filled with so much fear. And if the mind is filled with fear, then we're not receptive to guidance. When we're filled with fear, we either become very defensive, aggressive, or we just want to run away, right? Fight or flight. That's the reactions to fear. So fight is when we become defensive. But don't tell me that and don't do that. And flight is don't want to deal, just don't want to deal. And so where's there can't be receptivity. my mind can't be receptive if I'm filled with fear. And so devotion is this feeling of safe. I'm safe. And the minute I feel I'm safe in his arms, in his laps, in his grace, in his guidance, and then fear takes a back seat. And now mind is open and receptive. And so right story will come. Right character will be revealed to us for us to be able to follow. Snippets of satsang will come to us to guide us on how to be feeling and how to be thinking. And so Ishana Bhajana, being the chariot, is that frame of mind that I want to be in to make decisions that then guide my actions. So when I'm in the feeling of I'm safe, then the mind's receptive and I follow that guidance. But also, Ishana Bhajana is devotion literally translates to love. Right? So if I am loving someone, more often than not, negative qualities don't come into my heart. Sometimes I know we love this person, and then if they look at someone else, we get jealous. Right? then that's our attachment that's causing the jealousy, right? It's not love that will cause us to get jealous if they look at someone else. Or if I love them and then I get scared, they're going to lose interest in me. That again is my attachment. Yeah. If I, in actual love, then I'm not invested in gaining anything. I'm happy to just love. Then you think, now that's very hard. Yes, it is very hard. But in devotion, it's easier to do. With wife, daughter, husband, son, very hard to love them so unconditionally. Yeah. We want things from them, we get attached to them. But to God, we a lot happier to be able to say, okay, whatever you decide. Yeah. And there's this, so loving God allows the mind to have that kind of love where negativities don't creep in. And so, of course, I already know God loves everyone. So there's not going to be any negativities, nor is there going to be any fear of losing God's love because it's just there. Like none of us are scared of losing the sun. The sun the sun's just going to be there. Air is just going to be there. Water is just going to be there. Yeah. And so too, Bhagwan's Kripa is just always going to be there. So when we do have negative emotions with love, it's because it's a relationship which is more limited. And so jealousy can creep in and attachment and fear can creep in. But when it's devotion and not just normal love, then because devotion is to Bhagwan, who to be jealous of? Bhagwan loves everyone. Be jealous of everyone? Yeah, cannot. That's like just too much work. And we know his love is infinite. So there'll be enough for me. Infinite's pretty big. And infinite means it won't run out. You won't one day wake up and say, no, done now. Just, it won't happen. And so if I am seated or rooted in that devotion of feeling safe in that love, then negative emotions won't creep in. And in a heart that's actually feeling love, the kind of decisions I'll make are going to be ones that are good karma. When do we do bad karma? When we hate, when we angry, when we scared. But when we feeling love, we do good karma. We more generous, we kinder, we more patient. And so devotion is that mind that is filled with love. And so then love is the deciding factor in the direction I choose to go in. Remember, charioteer is choosing direction. And also speed. Charioteer is also choosing speed. So how quickly I go. Because sometimes we can really dilly-dally. I'll do it. I'll do it. I'll do it. I'll do it. And it can be things that are like super duper important. It could be things to do with our health. It could be things to do with, having a conversation with someone, which might not be the easiest conversation, but super important. And so even speed, so the charioteer, my charioteer is devotion, then that feeling of safe gives me strength to make good decisions. And the feeling of love gives me the purity to make good decisions. And so remember, those are the two parts of the mind, strength and purity, strength and purity. That's what we always making sure the mind has, strength and purity. And then eventually on the spiritual journey, we want to transcend the mind, for which we need strength and purity. So where does strength come from? That feeling of safe, actually, right? But earlier we saw that strength, the quality of courage gives us strength. The quality of self-control gives us strength. Anything else? Bala, strength itself is one of the qualities. And then purity. Yeah. So, Ishana Bhajana, devotion. And here we have this, we have very conditioned ways in thinking of devotion. And even recently, this talk that I heard was, it's very nice now that they get more everyday people to give talks rather than me. Like a Swami giving a talk, you'll see now with more everyday people reflecting on scriptures or what they heard on. And so a teenage girl, when she was saying, I always thought seva was you go, especially like in the Gurudwara, where they literally sweep, literally wash, literally serve. And then she said, and then I was quite surprised to read in the Guru Granth Sahib that seva is just even smiling at someone. Like devotion, very often we think devotion and then immediately we think singing bhajans or singing hymns or singing, what are they called? Bombs. And then, immediately we think bowing down in front of a church, temple, mosque, synagogue, whatever. That's usually the sense that comes of devotion. And those are great. Please keep coming ashram. Please keep bowing down. Please keep coming for bhajans and celebrating. And keep doing abhishek and keep decorating Krishna with flowers. Those are great. But devotion is such a big umbrella. It could be something like gardening. Gardening could be devotion. You can see how, right? How Oh, you can't see how. Oh, very good, I asked. Please tell me how. How is gardening devotion? Not that you can garden in Hong Kong. This is for all you people who don't live in Hong Kong, this example.
How much attention you give to watering the plants or
Yeah, nurturing.
yes, again.
But also it's Bhagwan's creation. This is Bhagwan's beauty. And you know, like, it's life. It's very awe-inspiring. I remember once when I was gardening, so many different types of bugs. Like you think, how is that possibly devotion? Especially our Hong Kong kids will start screaming on top of their voices. It's mind-blowing the variety of life forms that can exist. Immediately it's reverence. How color gets created in every petal of the flower. Like if you look, sometimes on one petal there's so many different shades. How did that get created? In the seed. I mean, we sit and put eyeliner and then put this layer and that layer, and then, do that whole coloring and then the whole shading of the eyeshadow. But it's in a seed. And then it becomes this incredible shading. It's reverence. It's seeing beauty. It's not a murti. It's seeing him as life itself. It's seeing it as beauty itself, which was all said to us in chapter 10 of the Gita. Yes. And again we've heard it. See him in the world around you. And so in so many different ways, we can see him in the world. So devotion is not and Gurudev would say it very often, 1 hour a week affair. But we also do it. We only veg on Mondays. The rest of the week. So the idea is it's not an action. Religion is not one action. It's not like you go to the gym 3 times a week, you go to the ashram once a week, you go to the office 5 times a week, you meet your friends for drink on Friday. It's not a slot it into your calendar tick. It has to pervade. It has to pervade your thinking. Otherwise, it doesn't bring about unfoldment of the personality. So even something like people who exercise and it's a chore and they just go once a week versus somebody who exercises and then their posture changes throughout the week. And then they feel better, stronger, taller, more energetic. Yeah. It has to be more than once. Otherwise, it's just a tick box that we do. So devotion is not a activity. It's not a one-off, 1 hour a week or 2 hours a week. I have done this action. I am devoted. It's devotion is seeing Bhagwan. And Bhagwan is everywhere all the time. And so, easiest place to see? Your answer. Easiest place to see? Nature. In Hong Kong, where you're gonna find nature? You're saying it's there, it's there, it's there. Chatham Road. Kowloon Park. Huh? On the hikes for sure. So in Hong Kong, you have to go on a hike and it's all around you. Oh, come on. I said easiest place to see. How? In us, how? How are you going to see? Huh?
Children.
Our children?
That's passing away, right?
If you see
Seeing your children.
Bhagwan in your children, your spiritual journey will progress very quickly. Please see Bhagwan in your children. I'll soon be bowing down to you. In us, how?
The mechanism of the body and how it works.
Yeah, mechanism of body would be great. I sneeze, I blink, I swallow, all of that works so beautifully. But easier would be just our breath. Which is why every single meditation will start with take a few deep breaths. Notice your breath. Breath is the most evident source of life. For indication of life, sign of life force, breath. Right? So simple. You don't even have to close eyes. Just notice your breath. And we can do this as in, and we haven't seen Bhagwan at all. It's just, I need to breathe that out. Or we can take a slow, gentle breath in and think, life, I'm alive. And that life force is Bhagwan itself. Simplest way of saying it. You don't need anything. No prompt, no picture, no mantra, zero money spent, zero time spent. Because anyways, you're breathing. It's not like you have to do something different. You were going to breathe anyway. Even if I say Om Namah Shivaya, maybe I wasn't going to say that. I have to remind myself to say it. But breathing, I had to do it anyways. So it's the easiest, simplest way. And so what's devotion? That feeling of safe in Bhagwan's grace. And also that, oh, so beautiful, or so vast, or so intelligent, or so perfect, so coordinated. And in life, we'll keep seeing it, where things fall into place, or something is just so brilliant, or something is just so funny, or something is so we'll see it in ourselves, it's life itself, and or in everything working or not working. We can even be amazed at how unintelligent we can be in a moment. Like, Bhagwan, really? You allowing this colossal delusion to continue? And then we can see it in the world around us. Easiest place to see it in the world around us, nature. Okay? But please don't do only easy. We have to start seeing it in the world around us, in people. So, Ishana Bhajana, charioteer is what directs the chariot, has the power to decide. Speed, direction. Success is when that charioteer is devotion. It doesn't mean we only going to go to God. Devotion is also parahita, wanting everybody else's welfare. Okay. If he loves everyone, then devotion is being nice to all the other people he loves. And so devotion is actually, as one of you rightly said, a lot of the other qualities tied in. So beautiful. And so how do we practice it? We start by practicing it in moments of making decisions. We think of Bhagavan, fill our hearts with love, open it to guidance, and then make the decision. So maybe first we can make a checklist for yourself. How much fear am I feeling right now? Even if you're feeling 10% fear, don't make decision. How much anger, hate, defensiveness am I feeling right now? If you're feeling it, don't make decision. How much desire am I feeling right now? Oh, if you are feeling desire, your decision is going to be what you desire, which may not be the best decision for you. So if I'm feeling desire right now, don't make decision. This is actually quite hard, huh? There. So, which was the first one? Fear. Second one? Hate, anger, defensiveness. Defensiveness is anger only. We get very defensive. Third one? Desire. We wouldn't have thought of that. Very, very important to check. How much desire do I have at this moment? Usually it will be 100% desire. If you're having a really good day, you'll be like 80% desire. And then when should you make a decision? When you have zero desire. Oh, guess I won't be making any decisions then. So what should I be in to make a decision? Love. For who? Bhagwan. I make lots of decisions filled with love for my children. No. That's desire, not love. Has to be love for Bhagwan, then make decisions. Then it's a chariot of success. Don't worry, Bhagwan loves your children also. He only gave them to you. So it's not like he's going to hurt your children or your spouse or your parents. So it's safe. If I'm loving him in that moment, any decision I make will be good decision. Wow, that changes things. Right? That's what charioteer means. Devotion, you knew what it meant. But I'm making sure you know what charioteer means. Because what's driving your chariot right now? Fear, desire, with a good dose of anger and defensiveness. Yes.
How do you know when it's coming from guidance and from love and from desire? Because sometimes it can be sneaky.
Yeah. How will I know whether I'm being guided by Bhagwan or it's my desire. Firstly, before you even start asking the whole process of Bhagwan, please help me, what do you want? Write that down. Now ask Bhagwan, what should I do? And if it's the same as your desire, be oh. I wanted that only to start with. So maybe this is not Bhagwan talking. Maybe this is just my desire talking. I'm not saying Bhagwan will never guide you to fulfill your desires, but first make sure you write down your desire. So you're very clear on what your desire is. Yes? We lie to ourselves quite a bit. Ishana Bhajana said, so who's driving your chariot? The thing that is motivating you when making your decisions is the chariot here that you have right now. In the chariot of success, your chariot here will be devotion. I already mentioned that in the Gita, it says your chariot here is Krishna. This is actually easier. To make Krishna my charioteer is like, I don't know what Krishna is thinking. Where is he? Is he here? But devotion, I am in total control of. I know if I'm feeling devotion. The feeling of devotion is safe and love. Two, the safe is my strength and the love is my purity. That's why great saints will say, if you are scared, you're an atheist. You haven't heard this before? You scared? That's too drastic? Sorry if you think it's too drastic. It's truth only. If Bhagwan's there, if you're scared, that means you don't believe he's there. It's not drastic. If you think it's drastic, that's your excuse for not trusting. I remember the first time I heard this. It was like someone slapped me across the face. It's a truth, huh? If you have fear, atheist. No, he's there. I just think he's busy with other people and he forgot me. Really? And where was he supposed to be? Inside me. This week's homework. Notice how often you have varying degrees of fear. And ask yourself, where's God in this? I'm not even saying where's your belief. I'm not saying to ask you, where's your belief in God? Asking you to ask yourself, where's God? Know the difference? See the difference? You try. You tell me how your week goes. Ishana Bhajana. Devotion. Mm. One of the easiest ways to practice devotion is to chant. And so to have some little ritual where you do chant is great. And if it's not a daily ritual, then we have enough festivals. Navratri starting on Monday. For 9 days, take up a chant. It would usually be a Devi chant. It will be Aigiri Nandini Nandita, or Mena Suktam, Durga Suktam. If you don't know any of those, you do whichever one you know. Hanuman Chalisa, Guru Stotra. Or you read Vibhishana Gita verses every day. Actually, they just like 8 verses. They're not long at all. So, an easy way to create a sense of devotion is to chant. There's something very powerful about the speech of chanting, the vibration of chanting, and that the mantras are revealed to the rishis. And so they're extremely potent. Another very useful way to develop devotion or to be in that mode of devotion is gratitude. And so in the West, when they practice gratitude, it's a list of, I'm grateful for this, I'm grateful for this, I'm grateful for this. And then often it will say to tell the person that you're grateful for, that you're grateful for them, or what they did for you. And those are great. But in bhakti, our devotion is to Bhagwan. No matter what I'm grateful for. I got food, thank you, Bhagwan. I don't get food, thank you, Bhagwan. I got food I like, thank you, Bhagwan. I got food I didn't like, thank you, Bhagwan. Why is it still thank you? Because you are helping me have a stronger mind and get over likes and dislikes. There's always a reason. Yeah. And so usually it's gratitude for all the things we think are great. But in bhakti, has to be gratitude for even all the things you don't like. I remember reading about, she was a nun living in St. Francis's monastery. And she talks about how there was one other nun in the monastery she really didn't like. The sight of her would irritate her. And then she tried to understand, why does the sight of this other nun irritate me so much? And her voice she found grating, and her face she found annoying, and her behavior was just like, everything about this other nun irritated her and caused her much repulsion. And then one day in her meditation, she decided, no, the Bhagwan would not want me to behave this way. We are all God's children. And so from tomorrow, I'm going to be extra nice to her. I'm going to be nicer to her than I am to anyone else. So of course the other nun notices that this one comes with her very super big smile and gives her her share of the dessert, and then says it's such a so wonderful to see you. And then so this goes on for about 2-3 weeks, and this other nun says, I really don't understand this affection you have for me. It baffles me that you find so much affection for me. And the original nun, who is thinking, me too. And then she kept at it. And she came to a point where she said she was so grateful that she was irritated by this film so that she could do this sadhana, so she could see being irritated was silly. Actually, if you just nice to the person, they'll be nice back to you, and then there ends the matter. Like there wasn't even an exchange between them, and she was getting irritated by the face and the voice. But if you talk to them, gone, right? And so in bhakti, you're grateful for all the unpleasant things also. Because if Bhagwan has sent it, it's good for me. So I'm grateful. This is that trust. And so today, 2 homeworks you got. You're not allowed to be atheist. And there's gratitude to Bhagwan. Thank you, Bhagwan. If the attendant at Starbucks makes the coffee just the way you like it, thank you, Bhagwan. Not thank you, Starbucks attendant. If Starbucks attendant mucks it up, makes it too sweet, not sweet enough, thank you, Bhagwan. Don't write complaint letter to Starbucks. If every single traffic light on the way home is red, thank you, Bhagwan, for teaching me patience. If every single traffic light on the way home is green, thank you, Bhagwan. You knew I was in a hurry. If there's hot water in the shower, thank you, Bhagwan. If there isn't, thank you, Bhagwan. Then it's devotion. It's not even gratitude, it's devotion. But all the benefits of gratitude will be there. Which is, wow, such a long list, huh? The benefits of gratitude. Very long list. Good for your health, good for your mind, good for your relationships. Apparently, you even sleep better. Ishana Bhajana Sarati. Make him your Sarthi. Chariot. Means make devotion your chariot. We'll pause because I spoke a lot. And then next one we'll do next. What's next one? Vairagya. Everyone's least favorite topic. It's vast. Depends on my mood how vast it will be. Can be done in 2 lines. Vairagya is stop being so attached to everything and be attached to Bhagwan. Oh yeah, Vairagya, come in. Next week we will do something else. As you all can tell, we're getting ready, started for Navratri. Next week will be Navratri. But our class will be on as normal. For y'all, it's not so notable. No, actually, for y'all also, it's noticeable. On screen, the purple behind me looks very bright. It's okay. Catch people's People on screen cannot see how it's all matching. The orange definitely doesn't match with them. We'll share. Any questions, anyone?
One.
Yeah.
And Swamiji, thank you for one. I understand that part.
Yes.
But shouldn't we also say thanks, say to that Starbucks attendant? I mean,
Yeah, you can say thank you to Starbucks attendant also.
it would make that person's day. and
Yeah.
appreciate-
You can say thank you to them. For sure. I didn't mean to say don't say thank you to them. My distinction was that usually in the West, when we talk about gratitude, the gratitude would end there after saying thank you to Starbucks attendant. My point is in devotion, it's thank you to Bhagavan. Because attendance will keep changing. Coffee will also keep changing. You'll also keep changing. Thank you shouldn't change. Bhagavan shouldn't change.
So when you were talking about devotion with the heart, and then you can make a good decision. Do you mean intuition or not really?
No, decisions should be made with intellect. Very clear in the Bhagavad Gita.
But
No, don't use gut. Gut is for digesting food. Don't use gut for making decisions. Decisions should be made with intellect. Gita is super clear. And if gut is telling you to do something, use your intellect to see why. I'm not saying discount it at all. Use your intellect. Does intellect agree with it? Can intellect find other alternatives? But we are not able to access intellect when there is fear, anger, desire. Yes, those are all belonging to mind. And that's why devotion is love, which frees you from fear, frees you from anger, frees you from desire. Use intellect. It's the most powerful tool Bhagwan has given us.
Like the has to make a decision because she believe
Yeah.
the God has sent her some reason to be
Yeah.
nice to that and
That's right. The nun made intellectual decision. Emotion was, she irritates me. Intellect says, no need to be irritated. She's God's child.
No point trying to be a psychic.
No point in trying to be a psychic. No. Do you know, so many great saints and sages who have psychic abilities switch it off. It's a distract. It's like the beeping of your phone. So no. Phone is to be used for work. No need to have all these distractions. Just same way we switch off notifications. Saints and sages switch it off. Bhagwan is very clear in the Bhagavad Gita. Use intellect.
Just a follow to that. So is there a place for intuition at all?
Is there a place for intuition? Sure. Yeah. You're soon going to become a mom. Intuition will play a huge part. in being a mom when the child is so young and vulnerable and cannot communicate to you what they need. Your intuition will tell you what they need. Yeah. Even then, you'll second guess it 300 times. Yeah. When Bhagwan really needs you to do something, you'll hear it very loud and clear in your head. But it won't be go for movie, don't go for movie. It won't be those things. It will be when another life depends on you. Also, we use the word without totally, completely understanding what it means. As a teacher now, I have been teaching for 30 years, which has given me a certain amount of proficiency as a teacher. Because I have developed that much experience over 30 years of teaching, I now will intuitively know certain things. But it's not intuition. It's accumulated knowledge from experience. Somebody else will say it's gut. No, I've worked 30 years doing that. It's experience that allows me to know something so quickly. Whereas we use experience not in that. So here, this is knowledge only. What I'll say is, I get a feeling we shouldn't do that, but it's knowledge only. Because 30 years of experience has given me that knowledge. So how we use this word intuition? So is there a place for it? Yes. When knowledge has led to that much experience that it becomes intuition. When the mind is that pure, there. That's why you first write down what you desire. Because if desire is there, your mind's not pure. Sarve bhavantu sukhinaः, sarve santu niramaya, sarve bhadrani pashyantu, ma kaschit dukhabhag bhavet, asato ma sakramaya, tamaso ma jyotirgamaya. Mrityarmamritangamaya. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. Are you showing them all the color coordinating?